Welcome to the Calmer Self podcast. I'm Nadine. Join me to learn how to connect with the calmer version of yourself. I'll share with you my tips and coping strategies for reducing feelings of stress, overwhelm and guilt so that you can live a productive life with ease and joy. And there'll be inspiration from other wellbeing therapists, experts in relaxation and fellow calm crusaders. Well, hello everybody. Today I am delighted to be talking to the lovely Karen Theimer. Now, Karen is a freedom practitioner. She's a podcaster and she coaches people to find their joy again and leads them on a path to being 50 and free. Now, that is quite intriguing, isn't it? Because obviously I'm going to ask you what 50 and free is all about. So welcome, Karen. It is lovely to talk to you today.
Oh, thank you so much, Nadine. I love listening to people's intros, and your voice is so soothing. So thank you. It's very calming.
I'm glad you feel that way. That is lovely to hear. So thank you. But I'm really delighted to talk to you today because, like I say, 50 and free. Now, is that your coaching business? Is it your podcast title? Is it a bit of everything? Is this what you do?
So it's a bit of everything. I'm going to just give you a short little background of how
brilliant.
50 and free came up, right? So just a little bit about me is when I turned 50, which was 6 years ago, and it's amazing how fast time flies.
Me too, 56, yay.
65 child.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when I turned 50, I remember thinking to myself, there's got to be more to life than what I'm living. And I've said this forever, right? And I thought, this is how the first part of my life, how do I want to live the second? And I realized I just felt stuck. What ended up happening is my marriage fell apart and I became single, right? And it's interesting how the universe works and how life works because you're always getting messages, right? At the same time that I left my marriage, a network marketing company showed up in my life. And I knew, so one of the hats I wear is I'm a massage therapist, right? So I thought I'm single income. I need to focus on building my business because energetically I kind of let it fall apart, right? So it's like, okay, I got to be able to pay my bills. And I ignored this other business opportunity, right? But what ended up happening, the universe had a different story for me, a different path. So to make a long story short, I ended up signing up and joining this company. But what I didn't know is the path that it was going to lead me on. And I remember going to an event and and it was for network marketing and stuff, but it could be for anybody, right? And I remember the host, Eric Worre, had said, if your business hasn't changed or your life hasn't changed in the last year, go find out what your blocks are. So I was like, I have this thing called a block. I didn't even know what a block was. I just knew my life hadn't changed and I wasn't happy, right? So I went up to one of my mentors and I said, okay, Dr. Bob, this is what's going on. I have this thing called a block and I want it to go away, right? He said, go find a coach that understands health and that understands the business, right? So I was like, okay, that's what I did. So I hired my first coach. I had no idea, again, how our mind worked. So fast forward, I could have a whole discussion about that, but fast forward, so I started learning more about how the mind and body work together and how our subconscious mind works and how we have control over our thoughts and feelings and all that kind of stuff, right? So when COVID hit, right at the very beginning, I had to shut down my massage business. So for me, and I've wanted to do coaching for a while now, but I just was like, I'm afraid, I don't have the background. I've just done my own healing, that kind of stuff. So I was like, but I coach people anyway, right? So I'm like, okay, well, why not make a business as well, right? And reach more people out there in the world. So when we had the first lockdown, I was like, okay, I need to pivot. Right? I don't know what's going to happen with my massage business. I could be closed down forever. I don't know. So for me, it's like, okay, focus on my other business. Let's rebrand myself. This is how 50 and Free came up. Because I'm like, you know what? and I listened to people, especially women, we're really hard on ourselves. And, people, I'm old, I can't change. I'm 50 years old. I'm 52, whatever. And it's like, wait a minute, I've had some of the best times in my life at 50. So that's how 50 and Free came about. So
I love that story, and I can tell you're passionate about it, and it's what people call that lived experience, isn't it? You are speaking from the heart because you are that person. So the people that come to you, you are able to help because you really understand, and that shows with what you're saying. And I really agree with you. I mean, I thought my little tagline, if you like, is transformation through relaxation. And the people that come to me, it's a bit corny, but that's what it is. But the people that come to me actually, like you say, they want to change, but they don't know how. And or they, like you say, that block, that resistance, whatever it is, we have so many things that get in the way, don't they? And we don't know what they are sometimes, and we don't understand. So you've obviously learned a lot about yourself and that kind of thing, and now you can help other people. And I think that happens a lot. That's exactly what happens with me. It's all about what I was doing for myself, and now I do it for other people, which is wonderful, isn't it? And I think where you said about, we don't know, we don't know the blocks, the resistance, we don't know how powerful we are, negative and positive. We are so powerful. And I think there's something about, obviously I'm biased, women of a certain age, we are massively powerful. And a lot of people, like you said earlier, have almost given up and they don't try anymore. And that is just, it's too sad, isn't it? We can't let that happen. So we are powerful beings and we can do it. So I just love that 50 and Free. To me, it sounds empowering, just that title. It's so wonderful, isn't it? So I really love that. And you said you've been on a bit of a journey yourself, talking about the things. And I think when we were chatting before, you mentioned a bit about you've done some work with your inner child. And would you like to share a little bit about that? Because that's something I've done a lot of and do a lot. I've got my little, let me show you. This is my little, me and little Nadine. This is what I use as a little symbol. So I don't know if you can see it properly.
Oh, it's beautiful.
This just reminds me, it's normally up on the wall, but this reminds me that I am me as I am now, but my inner child is always with me too. And I think that's part of what I've learned about it. So, I mean, would you like to share sort of how that's helped you, sort of going back to childhood and healing maybe and working on that?
Sure. So what I'm learning about, because I know a lot about the body, right? As a massage therapist, I also have a nutrition background and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still learning more and more about how the mind works, and then how they work together, and then you add spirit into it, right?
Exactly.
So I'm learning more about spirituality. That's a whole other world,
the universe gets involved.
right. And I'm learning about getting connected, right? Because our body speaks a language, right? And we hold a lot of emotion in there. And what I'm learning is that, that comes from inner child, like our little self, right?
Yeah.
And one of the messages, and I know where I'm resisting the most, is where I need to go.
Isn't that always the case? Yeah.
Oh, sometimes it's exciting. I was going to say, oh my gosh, it's so fresh. No, I'm shifting my energy.
No, I totally agree. That's our first reaction to it, isn't it? But then we can see it as a blessing, can't we? So you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So one of the things I've been resisting the most for quite some time, and the answers keep coming back to me when I'm asking for answers. It keeps coming back. Stay quiet, get connected, and do some meditation, right? So I'm like, okay. So this morning, and I'm going to just share my little experience. So this morning, I'm like, that's it. I'm going to do this. Last night I was going to do it, and then I didn't. Anyway, I went for a walk, and I do this tapping thing, like bring myself back to me, right? Put my hand on my heart, and I'm like,
I do that a lot. Connect.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, let's talk to my inner child, right? This is the first time I really actually did this.
Brilliant.
So you feel very uncomfortable. For those who are listening, that is normal to feel like, I feel weird doing this, and this sounds strange. It's like, shut this off, right? So I was like, okay, Karen, because there's some stuff that I've been kind of hard on myself a little bit lately that I'm working on letting go and healing. It's like, you know what, Karen? And I can never pronounce it.
Yes, yes. No, I cannot say either. I'll put it in the comments below for people that want to know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I want to learn more about that. But it was basically like, I was like, Karen, I'm sorry. Please forgive me, right? I love you. I thank you, right? So, and of course, the tears come down.
Oh,
right?
powerful,
And I'm like, Karen, we're taking our life to another level. We
Mm.
want to impact the world. Oh my God, this gives me goosebumps.
I've just got chills as you were saying that. Yeah, it's
Me
so
too. And
powerful. Yeah.
because I know this is the right thing, and it's like, you know what, we're on this new path. It's okay to be scared,
Yes.
right? I know you're afraid because this is what happened growing up. This is how
Mm.
your family was, blah, 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 right? Go through that. And that was what I did. And I said, you know what, girlfriend, we got this.
Yes.
Let's do it together. And if you fall down, we'll just pick ourselves back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think for me, I like it just, oh my God, it's going to make me emotional now. But it really,
Yeah, it is emotional.
I had
Yeah.
no idea. And I'm like, okay, this is something I'm going to do with myself daily because that
Yes.
this morning, what I did, and honestly, everybody listening, spend like 5 minutes
Yeah.
doing it. You don't
Yeah.
have to spend 2 hours. You don't have to spend an hour. Just spend 5 minutes going, hey, you know what? I'm a human and I
Yeah.
love you. And we're going to make mistakes and we're going to fall down. We're going to pick
Yeah.
ourselves back up. And
Mhm.
that is okay.
Exactly. Exactly. You've
Hope
explained that.
helps.
You've explained that so well. And you're absolutely right. There is fear, there is resistance. I mean, when I first got introduced to meditation, which is a big part of what I do now and what I teach people, I didn't want to do it. I was exactly like you just said, oh no, put it off, put it off. Then it was a question of what am I not doing? Why am I not doing this? And I was scared. I was scared of peace and quiet. I was scared of what was going to come up. And you're absolutely right. Some of those things are, not pleasant, but they're things that need to come up and it's beneficial, isn't it? And you're absolutely right with talking. I always say, talk to little Nadine. And I have that moment and I do tune in daily and sort of just ask advice, ask, what do you want, what do you need? And I'm talking to my little Nadine. And that really helps. And I always say to people, it's like if you're talking to a child yourself. You're going to be kind and you're going to be loving, not the way we talk to ourselves as adults, is it? Because if you're anything like me, the self-talk can be quite nasty.
Oh, I know, it's so annoying.
It's just switching it, isn't it? But I think the first thing, and like you say, for everyone to recognise, is that it is normal to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It is normal sometimes to feel a bit silly, but it is so beneficial to try it and just see, because it's another way of looking at things, isn't it? And it is so helpful to just get to the grips of what that is. And things do start, don't they, from when we're very young. So going back to that and just revisiting sometimes, looking at it a bit differently, asking those questions really helps, doesn't it? So I'm so glad you shared that with everyone, because it is valuable, isn't it? So valuable.
Yeah, and I just want to share one other little thing on that. So I asked myself, okay, what is one thing you can do? Just one. If you do more, fantastic. But what is just one thing? We're always going to have a list, people. Always. That will never change. So the sooner we realize that list will just get bigger or whatever, it will never go away. So we have to surrender to the list, right?
Yes.
But I'm like, what is one thing I can do today? And the first thing came up was go exercise.
There you go. Move.
And I came back, I was out for a walk and I came back home and I was like, and then I started to dilly-dally. I started procrastinating. I'm like, no, Karen, I put down my phone, shut the thing. We're going to exercise, even if it's 10 minutes, because I haven't exercised in a really long time, right? So anyway, so it's like I'm eating way too much sweets being Christmas, right? So anyway, so I was like, okay, let's get, like, even if it's 10 minutes. So I did about 20 minutes, right? I was like trying to multitask. I'm like, stop it.
This is what we do.
And do this, right?
Oh, this is what we do, isn't it? We try and do too many things at once, and it doesn't work. We cannot multitask. I don't care what women say. We cannot multitask. And actually, even if we can, it's not good for us, is it? So it's really lovely that you're sort of explaining how it really is, because it is.
But you have to argue with yourself.
Well, you do, and it is that I talk to myself quite a lot, and you're right. You can feel a bit silly doing it, and you have to be careful who's about. But actually, it is quite beneficial to just go, hang on a minute, get a grip. Do what you need to do, and actually talk to yourself and be a little bit disciplined. And like you say, just one thing. You don't need to be hard on yourself for a long time. You don't need to make yourself do lots of things. One thing will do, and you're absolutely right. Movement is very powerful, isn't it? If you're sitting frozen and not doing anything, that is not emotionally and physically, it just doesn't do you any good. So just moving really helps, doesn't it? So really valuable advice you're giving everyone there. So thank you for that. So you're talking here about all the things you do and all that wonderful. You've got such a beautiful energy about you. So obviously I'm going to ask you, how do you connect with the calmer version of yourself? Do you actually manage to snatch some moments of calm in your busy day, or what do you like doing that brings you that peace and calm?
I do. I thank God I have a dog.
Yes. Oh, aren't they
And
wonderful? Yeah.
yeah, and I do live in the country, and
Mm,
I can tell when my inner child is starting to feel like I'm gonna snap kind of
yeah.
feeling, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, right, because I'm not connected to myself. So what I
Yes.
try to do is go, like I take my dog out, I live in the country, and I just get connected to Mother Nature, right?
Yes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
if I'm feeling super stressed, sometimes I really do hug a tree, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it's like, you know what? Trees have the best energy, and who cares what you feel, what you
You
look
know,
like? It's
yeah.
like, oh, it feels
Yeah.
so nice. So
That
that's what
can,
I do. I
yeah.
like getting connected to
I think you're
just
so right, aren't you? You know, thank heavens I've got two dogs. You might be able to have got them with me. You might be able to hear them. They're having a little protest. But it's that, thank heavens, because we can go out. We've got a reason to go out. The dogs, I always say to people, be more dog. Dogs know how to look after themselves, don't they? They rest when they want to. They play when they want to. You know, they're not like we are in their minds. But also, like you say, nature is so beneficial, isn't it? Because just actually walking on the earth, connecting with, like you say, hugging a tree, you know, nature will take our negativity from us. So the tree will
yes.
take it from you. You know, this is one of the things you can just put it out there, and nature will just go, thank you very much, I'll take that from you. You know, so that's why we feel better in nature.
Yeah.
So it's so beneficial, isn't it? Getting a bit of light, daylight, fresh air, moving, all of those things really help, don't they? And it is, you know, meditation, like you said earlier, there is a place for it if you want it in your day, but you don't have to actually sit still and be quiet to actually feel relaxed and refreshed, to you, which I think is something people need to know, isn't it? That we don't have to
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
all the time, but it's nice if you can as well. Nice to do a
Yeah.
bit of everything. So when you work with people, Karen, do you work one-to-one with people? Do you do like group workshops? How does your work actually manifest itself?
So things are shifting, right? So, I'm doing one-on-one. At one point, I will be doing a group. So stay tuned.
Brilliant.
Please follow me, right? Because there's so many amazing things coming up for 2022. 2022, yes, 2022.
2022,
And,
yeah.
I'm going to have what's called Freedom Fridays. I'm going to be posting all that on social media. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing groups. I'm going to be doing one-on-one. And we'll see. I don't even know where this is going to take me, but I'm going on a hell of a journey, let me
I
tell you.
was going to say it's 50 and free, isn't it? In every sense of the word. How lovely. That's beautiful. So where can everyone find you? Is it 50 and free that we want to look for to find you on social media and that kind of thing?
Yep, so social media, so 50, spell it out, FIFTY and free.
Yeah.
So I'm on all the social media platforms. The
Brilliant.
KS, you can download the app
Exactly.
called
Yes.
KS Media Group.
Yeah.
And that's K, like K as in kid. I had to think
Yes.
about that, as in Mary.
Yeah, I'll
Media
put
Group.
that in the links below as well, so everyone can see. But you've got some resources on there, haven't you, Karen? Have you got some things on there that people can tap
A
into?
little, yeah, so my website and everything is on there. It's being updated. So
Yeah,
once I have my new program out, it will be on
it
that.
will
So
be on
that's
there so
still
people can
still in
see.
working progress, but it will be, yeah.
That is brilliant, isn't it? So, because I know people will want to find out more about you and connect with you. So I really feel, and the app is such an easy way, isn't it, for people to just quickly go there and they can look. They just have to create a free account, don't they, on there, find you in the directories,
Yeah,
and then they'll
Karen
find all of your connections, which is wonderful, isn't it? So
yeah.
but I know people will want to talk to you more and find out a bit more about everything.
Let's connect. I love that.
Definitely. So I'd like to end by asking you to share a word of wisdom or words of wisdom that everybody can take away. So obviously you've given us a lot already, but is there something you'd like just to say for people that might help them, just something they can take away with them today?
I think right now, today, with everything that's going on in this world, being the holidays, everybody is, and I'm seeing it in my clients more and more, and it's everybody's so stressed out. Everybody is so stressed out. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Hands down, be kind to others. But first, it has to start with you, and just say, you know what? If you're having a bad day and you're stressed out and you're worried about this and that, come back and go, I'm a human having a human experience,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Yes, it's okay.
That is it. Just be kind to yourself, because guys, women, and I don't know about men because I can't speak for men, but we are so hard on ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, it's meant
And
to. Yeah, it's meant to.
yeah, and that has to stop. And
Yes.
and I cut myself too.
Brilliant.
So
So you're giving us all permission to be kind to ourselves. I love that.
permission. That's the right word.
love that.
Permission.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sometimes we need that, don't we? Sometimes we need to be told, reminded. So I love that, to share that with everyone. That is beautiful. People can take that and use that, can't they? So that is great.
Give
So
myself permission to be kind.
exactly. This is what, and connect like you've just done perfectly.
Connect.
So this is what we need to do, isn't it? So definitely. So I would love you to come back at some point in time with all your developments and have another chat about what you're doing and what you're up to. But for now, this is all we've got time for. So thank you so much for spending the time chatting to me today, telling us about everything that you do. And I will speak to you soon. Have a lovely day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Calmer Self podcast. Please rate and review. And if you want support, advice, accountability and inspiration to make the changes you need to manage your stress and live your life with ease and joy, check out the Calmer Self Facebook page. There's also more information on LinkedIn, Nadine award-winning changemaker, and please visit my website www.calmerself.co.uk.